All right, everybody, we're back. It's a Wednesday, and the Wednesday games are usually pretty hot here at nighttime because there's a big tournament. A lot of the tournament players bust out, end up coming to the cash games. So Wednesday is usually a good day. It's almost 12:30 now, so we have a little while until the evening crowd comes in. But I want to get here, play some cards against some tougher day game guys, and hopefully slide into the evening pretty smoothly. But I'm ready to go in here, play some cards. 2-5 today. I'll see you at the table. Good to be back already sitting at the poker table. Exciting session for you guys. The first couple hours, I do not really record many hands. This is like one of them, and this is kind of an example as to why I didn't record too many hands in the beginning. So like I said in the intro, it's full of professionals and day game regs, and really one of the toughest 2-5 tables you'll probably ever find. I'm not exaggerating. It is a very tough game full of tough players. And don't get me wrong, I get in there, it's some exciting plays, but a lot of it gets taken down pre-flop or on the flop. This hand, for example, there is a raise to 15 from the hijack. The cutoff, 3 bets to $50, and I look down at King Jack suited. What do? Flat calling a 3-bet never feels great. I guess it's okay in position, but I don't really ever want to be doing that very often. So what do I do here? I know they're more than capable of raising and 3-betting light. So I decide to put in the 4-bet to $150 in position, which is perfectly fine by my standards. And we take it down pre-flop. And this is just kind of like a little example hand as to why I didn't record too many hands early on. I put in another 4-bet bluff with 5-6 of spades and, you know, that kind of stuff. Interesting plays, but just not interesting enough for me to put them on the vlog here. So we're going to get into some bigger hands as the video goes on. This next hand, we make it at least to the flop and more. We look down at King 10 offsuit. There's one limp before me. I raise it up to $20 in the hijack, and we get 2 callers going 3 ways to a flop, which comes 10-2 jack. So pretty good board, all things considered. Opponent decides it's a good idea to lead into me for a half pot size bet of $30. Nothing left for me to do but call. So that's what I do, and the other opponent folds, heads up to a turn. And it's the 9 of hearts. So not really that good of a card for me. It does give me a gut shot to a straight draw, but it's a better card for him. He decides to slow it down with a check. I'm not going to bite on this one. I'm going to check this back and see what happens on the river for some pot control. And it brings a blank with the 3 of spades. He decides to check again, and at this point I think he has a 10x holding. Not a very strong hand, and a hand that we can probably go for some thin value on. That's what I do. I bet out $50. He puts in the snap call. I flip it over pretty confident, and as I should have, because we are good. We take it down with some thin value here. I've been trying to get better at doing that instead of letting things check through. There's a lot to be said for being able to get value off of second pair, or even sometimes a little bit worse when people are very call happy. Just a little mental note that I've picked up in the games I've been playing lately. Not a very exciting hand, but guys, stick with me. This gets very crazy as the night goes on, and I'll see you on the next hand. So this is where the night takes a turn. A couple action guys that I've played with, have some history with, sit down at the table. The game starts to get very fun. Everyone's drinking. It's like 6 p.m. at this point, and yeah, we are ready to get in here, mix it up, and try to capitalize. We look down at pocket fours. Literally, guys, the entire table limps to me, so I think we're 9-handed at this point. All limps to me in the big blind. I look down at pocket fours, don't see a real big point in raising, I guess. So I just decide to check it back and go 9 ways to a flop, which is beautiful. Ace, 4, 5. Could not think of a better situation. I check, obviously knowing someone's going to bet this. Someone in middle position bets 15. They get a call, and these are 2 guys that are very, very call happy. So I'm not going to raise light here. I decided to bump it up to $75. They both put in the snap call, and now we're going 3 ways to a turn card with a little pot building. which is not great to be honest against these specific opponents. It's the Two of Hearts. This card in the moment just kind of bothered me. These guys, I know it sounds crazy, but have more than plenty of threes in their range. It's just kind of how they play. I decided to slow down and check, and unfortunately they both check back. I know I could get value from some flush draws. Probably a misstep here on my end, but I do decide to check it, and it checks through. So off to a river card, which is as beautiful as it can be with the Queen of Clubs. Nothing left for me to do except bet out. That's what I do. Pretty big bet of $200. And unfortunately, they do not think long before both folding, which is unfortunate. I would have liked to seen this queen on the turn make me feel better about betting. But we have plenty of more humongous hands ahead with these guys, so no worries. This next hand is a world-famous bomb pot that you all know and love. I look down at Ace 8, 7, 5 with the Ace of Diamonds suited. And yeah, 9 ways to a flop. Someone bets out $65 on the flop, and like almost everybody calls. We go 6 ways to a turn card. I like my equity in this situation. 2 pair on the bottom, nut flush draw up top. And if I wasn't feeling good enough, I hit the absolute nuts up top in a bomb pot that is growing to be quite aggressive, with a lot of aggressive players in there that seem to have a heavy interest in the hand. And it checks to me, oddly enough, and you can probably guess I'm not going to be checking this through. I have the nuts, and I don't want to go too big. Honestly, I want to kind of keep a lot of people in there. If I get a board pairing card up top, then so be it. But I bet out 275, trying to give a decent price for everyone to keep in there. The more people in there, the better, as I always say in these, if you have the nuts. And wouldn't you know it, the boys do not let me down. They're all feeling like donating today. I get 3 callers of $275. And yeah, this is just a great table, fun group of guys. And we are going 4 ways to a river card. Please do not pair the board. I would love to win this. And we get a beautiful river, if I've ever seen one. 6 of clubs up top, giving me the effective nuts. And a 9 of hearts on the bottom, giving me the straight. Even though I would have liked to see another 8 or a 5, it's okay, not to get too greedy. It checks to me. I look down on my cards just to make sure I'm not dreaming. And $1,600 in the middle. I have a little over 1,000 left in my stack, and I cover everyone else that's in the hand. So I look at the deal and I say, I'm all in, and slowly start assembling all my chips in the middle, right around $1,400 or so. And I get snap called to the left, top left up there. You can't see it. He's out of screen. And then another snap call to my top right. And I'm like, holy shit, are these guys serious? What do they have? But what can I do? I'm just sitting here loving life. Over on the guy to my right, direct right, you see him in the screen there. And I'm just thinking, dude, just call at this point. This is a complete catastrophe for at least 1 out of the 3 people in this hand. And it's not going to be me. I'm going to be taking at least half this down. He tanks for quite a while. I don't mind. I'm just basking in the moment. He eventually does find a fold. And I look at everyone, I say, well, I definitely have the nuts up top. I don't know what you guys have. And they both say, I have a flush on the bottom. And the action guy does not have the nut flush. Only the guy on the top right ends up having the ace king of hearts. And the big action guy just gets scooped on this one. Feels bad for him, feels great for us. And we will definitely take it. I wish I got an exact count, but these get like so complicated. I just know there was over $5,000 in there. And yeah, we're taking down half of it. And the great news is we didn't have to contribute a huge amount because we're so multi-way almost on every street. So we make a very healthy profit here on this bomb pot. And yeah, we take it down. Big picture of all the money in the middle there. A bunch of degenerates here sitting at this table, I'm included. And we are going to move on to the next hand. Off to a pretty fun rest of the session. I do decide to join the fun, get a couple drinks as we're all drinking at the table. They peer pressure me. I'm winning pretty good. I'm not going to get out of line too much, so I decided to partake, grab myself a few drinks. But that leads us into our next hand, which is the King-Queen offsuit. The straddle is on for $10. There's a raise from early position to $40. Someone else calls. I could always 3-bet this. but I decide to just put in the call in position, and we go like 5 ways to a flop, which does not come ideal, obviously. 7-7-6, nothing going for us here on this board. The very loose, splashy opponent decides to lead out, even though he was not the pre-flop raiser. He likes to do this a lot, and he leads out for a modest $30, very small compared to the size of the pot. And the pre-flop raiser to my right puts in just a flat call. I'm sensing a lot of weakness here, and I think the best thing I can do is put in the raise. I know it sounds loose and splashy, but it looks really strong, raising into two people. And whenever I do this for value, I just feel like everybody folds. So I put in the raise here, getting a little adventurous to $125. The guy up on the top left there that bet puts in the fold. Guy to my right, pre-flop raiser, tanks and calls. So not what we wanted, but we're heads up officially to a turn card, which does not help us at all. It's the 5 of diamonds, but this board is really bad for the pre-flop raiser's hand. He checks to me. I can tell he's not loving it, even though my hand is just completely trash here. I'm going to continue on with my story. I decide to bet out $250, and it puts him in the blender. Me just flat calling in position here. This board texture is just so much better for me than it is for him. Going to be tough for him to fold out an overpair, but I can tell even if he has an overpair that's not aces, kings, queens, he's not going to feel very comfortable. And oddly enough, he's like, do you just have pocket queens? Which, you know, I pretty much never have in this spot. But it leads me to think he has pocket jacks, and I'm like, oh, he's probably not going to fold this. He checks his cards, reluctantly slides them in the muck. So we get a little out of line here, but we get this one through for a little pot. Things are definitely getting out of hand. Situation's escalating. There's a straddle on for 10 and 20 and 40. So we're playing 2, 5, 10, 20, 40. And then someone trying to collect some dead money goes ahead and puts in a raise to $150, making a move. I don't know, maybe he has a good hand, but it doesn't matter. I look down at the beautiful pocket kings, and I am not going to be cute with this. I'm just going to go ahead and put in the 3-bet right away. If everyone folds, whatever, I collect a bunch of dead money. So that's what I do. I make it $450, and unfortunately, everybody decides to fold. Would have liked to get some action here, but I also would not be thrilled going 5 ways with pocket kings. So we take down a bunch of dead money, and we just have to move on to the next hand. The action just keeps going. Pocket kings are very cool, but what's even better are pocket aces of the red variety. And we are first to act under the gun. We raise it up to $25, a little higher than usual just because everyone's call happy. I get 1 call, and then I get 3-bet to $75. And then somebody cold calls the 3-bet. And what in the world is going on? Like, this is just such a great table. But yeah, it gets back to me. And if I flat call this, we're probably going to go 5 ways to a flop. Not interested in doing that. So I decide to put in the re-raise to $250. And I still get 2 callers anyways. So $250 is what I make it. Bunch of money in the middle already. 3 ways to a flop, which comes fairly decent, I would say. 6, 2, 7, 2 spades. Don't have a spade in my hand. And this connects okay with their range. These are 2 very loose guys. And when the flop comes, one of them actually says, well, I'm definitely ahead right now, I can promise you that, but I'm not going to be deterred. I'm not going to check this over. I bet out $400, a half pot size bet, and then I get snap jammed on by the guy that just said that for just about $1,000. And I really don't care if he has a set, take my money. If he has a draw and he gets there, take my money. So it's on the guy left to act, and he is in the tank, actually. And I'm thinking, dude, please call. He mucks his hand. That gives me the okay to snap him off, and he says, oh, shit, do you have aces? And yeah, shocker, I do. We decide to just run it one time. Turn is a jack, but the river is the 10 of spades, and I'm thinking, oh my god, we probably just lost. I flip over my aces, and he is checking his cards, and he says, you are good. Somehow he did not have at least a flush draw there. He ends up not showing, but if we lost there, that's just part of the game, part of the variance. We got our money in good. Thank God he was not on a flush draw. We run it one time and we scoop another massive pot. Feels good playing in this game, having a blast, and obviously grateful to be running so well. And that leads us to our last hand of the night. They end up switching the game to a round of Hold'em and a round of PLO, which is just about my cue to leave, hence why this is the last hand that I'm playing. I would love to keep playing with these guys, but I am up very good on the session, and one of them are a very, very well experienced PLO player. I'm not interested in blowing off my entire stack for the night after working so hard to get it. So this is our last hand. We look down at Queen 10-10-9 with a 10-9 suited. Pretty good starting hand to me. There's a raise of $15. Of course, we go, I think, 6 ways to a flop here, which comes pretty good. King 10-2. We flop middle set, probably the best hand here. I think there would have been another raise if somebody had pocket kings. And I check, and it checks all the way through here, which takes us 6 ways to a turn card, which is the 4 of diamonds. So still sitting on what's probably the best of it. Again, I try to play these just like I play my bomb pots, very cautiously. Somebody bets out $25, another guy calls, and I just put in the flat call. I think I could always raise here with probably the best hand. So, you know, go easy on me here in the comment section. I don't know how to play these very well. And we end up going, I believe, 5 ways to a river card, which is pretty interesting with the King of Spades. I feel pretty good about it. When it checks to me, I think I would have heard a bigger bet or a raise from a King X 2 pair by now. I think I just have the best hand a lot of times. So with that being said, even though I'm not too experienced with these, I would probably have to call myself a nit and just forfeit all PLO/bomb pot hands in the future. And I decided to put out a bet, wouldn't forgive myself otherwise, of $175. And everyone else seems to not like their hand very much at this point. I probably could maybe get away if I got re-raised. Would just assume I'm behind there playing these cautiously. But that's not the case. Everybody ends up folding. And we go like 1 for 1 on our PLO experience here. I play a couple more rounds just to entertain the guys, but nothing of significance. And we end up calling it a night, racking up, hitting the register, and cashing out for this session. That is going to conclude our session for today. In for 1700, out for 48.25. So yeah, ran pretty good. Definitely a great session to end on before Thanksgiving here, and feeling good, feeling really good. My hourly rate so far playing 2-5 is pretty astronomical. So feeling good, guys. The journey is going well. Yeah, ran good today. Really didn't get put in too many tough spots. Crazy how much the dynamic of the game changed from the beginning of the day until the end of the day. Went like the first 5 hours at like the toughest 2-5 table in the southeast region of the United States. It's ridiculous, but it's good. Test your skills a little bit. But then all the action came in later at night, as I knew it would. And thankfully we ran really well when the action came. So feels good. I'm going to cut this off. Hope you guys have a awesome rest of your day or evening, whatever time it is when you're watching this. Thank you to all my subscribers, everybody that took the time to watch this video. We'll be bringing you more content very soon, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.